Oh, this is the third time I've done this because I had to understand what the hell I was looking at. Look, guys, I'm not doing a full review here. I'm doing a partial review with my impressions of how NWA has changed. Okay? I haven't seen the product in a year. Look, I did Hard Times 3 last year, and the last NWA Power of November. That was the 23rd. I wrote it down in my notes. That was the last time I saw the product. That was it. I barely remember most of the people there because of what's been going on lately. This has been a hard year for me. Last year and part of this year. And I can tell you, it has not been easy for me. But I'm here to do the best I can with an impression review of a show that I wanted to go back to, but I've never had the time to do it or had the interest because of all the stress. Let's put this in perspective before I get started. Right now, we got a writer's strike going on. And even though they have solved and had done whatever they wanted when it came to their agreement with the studios, they haven't gone back to work as far as I know. The writers haven't gone back to work. We still have an actor's strike. And in solidarity, I believe they're still not working yet. Until the actors get their mess done, there is no writing and there's no acting. And right now, the networks are dying for content, whether it's coming from Netflix or regular network TV. They got to get content. And after hearing that Billy Patrick Corgan married his long-term girlfriend, and I thought, he's going to be doing something different, right? Maybe he will. And then hearing a little while later that he now has a TV deal with CW and a new territory coming in. I do not remember what the name of it. I think it was GUW or GC. Wait a minute. What was it? GUW? I can't remember what the name of the new territory that's for the NWA. With possibly 2 more coming. Possibly. It's different. So I'm going like, damn. Sweet. I forgot the name of it. Look, guys, this place, let me just give it to you like this. This pay-per-view was super gimmicky. And it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But there was so much gimmick here. A lot of people are going to say, this is bullshit. This isn't real wrestling. But we are dealing with a theme of Halloween. So they went in the Halloween theme. Let's make this clear. Opening. I can't remember the name of it anymore. I already said in the beginning of this video, I'm not saying again the pay-per-view name because now I just forgot it. We got a Devil's Last match? I think. Wait a minute. Yeah, a Devil's Last match. That was the first one on the main card. I did not see the kickoff. But we got, the premise of this match was you got about 5 people with 2 women, 1 on each, I believe. And the kicker here is that Pal the Sal, now gone bald, and the Gimp wanted to break away from I forgot about the opening when you see Father Mitchell with a whole bunch of women around him and it making it all about the hour of Hallows Eve, when we supposedly still go by the contract of all the demons and humans, and to honor them so they wouldn't come back and bother us anymore, we still dress up in costume to relay them. That's supposedly what the main contract is. He's playing into that. And then we get this match where basically Sal and Gimp are no longer wanting to be with him. For months, supposedly, they broke away. And if they won this match with help of who was there, I recognize Mim, and I also recognize Maxine Paler and Judas, and Sal and Gimp. I recognize them. But pretty much, who won the match determines whether Sal and Gimp are free or they still under contract with Father Mitchell and still his servants. They didn't win. Maxine Peller was used twice in the match because everyone was beaten, including her, but they could bring one more person back in. That's what I could understand. And she managed to beat the Gimp and Salas the last two. I'm not going to tell you this was a bad match. It was super gimmicky. It was ridiculous. It was interesting, but it was ridiculous. Let's move on. The second match. This is... Oh, man. What was in this? I'm like... The match is over. One who wins stays in NWA. The other one leaves. Now, Freeman... There are two Freeman brothers. I remember that. The small Freeman brother was the older one. The bigger one was the younger brother. And supposedly the bigger brother, who was the younger one, was in a match with his tag team partner. Something happened between them. So the older brother, who was the small guy, what was his name? Did I write it down? I don't remember if I wrote his name. Rush Freeman was the younger brother. And I don't know what the older brother's name was now. I didn't write it. There was so much going on. I was going like, what the fuck am I looking at? Now, supposedly, and here's where it gets interesting. The older brother was the ref, and he was trying to call it down in the middle until nailed someone in the gonads to help his younger brother win. But then Matt Cardona shows up, and supposedly the older brother is pretty much had a feud with Matt Cardona at, what was it, NWA 75? And supposedly beat him. I don't know, I didn't see NWA 75. I don't believe I did a review of it. I don't even remember. If I did do a review, I probably did, but I don't remember it. After all the videos I've done this year, I don't remember. So now, this didn't stop the brothers winning, but here's the thing. It was over. Then Matt Cardona made it very clear he wanted to get into the match in the end of the show, which was EC3 and Tom Latimer. Okay. And then he calls out Billy because Billy is the one who stripped him. And then Billy gets into the ring. And Billy was cursing a little bit, basically making it very clear, why the fuck are you messing with my show? And then he's being trying to Matt is trying to convince him to let him in the match. And pretty much Billy gives a long speech about why he's a draw, and that's Matt, why he's been known to be one of the best, and he's a lot like him, but he said, no fucking hell. Get the fuck out of my ring. So he's not allowed to get into that final match, which does make some sense at the end of the show, but we'll get to that. I'll say it was more interesting with what happened with Matt and with Billy than anything else. The next one was a pillar to post match. And that was an anything goes match. Pretty much go anywhere you want. And I don't recognize the other guy. I don't. But I do recognize Kobe Carino, who's now and still junior heavyweight champion. I remember when he was trying to become heavyweight champion, he was trying to go up against Homicide. But he didn't win, if I remember correctly. But he was trying to win. So, seeing that he has a title, I'm going like, okay, he's now only have a mustache. And I do remember when he shaved off the beard and only kept the mustache. Let's see how far he's gotten. And Kobe has gotten pretty far. He shows a lot more personality in the ring. Before, he didn't show that much personality. He was just doing straight up wrestling. But now he does more personality. And he did cut himself. He did blaze himself. So it's good to see he can blaze himself when it's necessary. And he did win. And did pretty much they went to the fans. They went into the arena. And then they both jumped to, let me give it to you like this. When Kobe jumped off that section of the arena to land on everybody, it looked a little sloppy. I don't think he's ever done it like that before. He was going like this. And he wasn't trying to set himself in a way that wouldn't hurt too many people as he came down. But he did win the match. So they still have faith in Kobe. And I remember Kobe did have he was showing personality. He was showing that he could be something. So it's good to see that the development is going. Okay, a rock and roll match. Okay. We got the Headbangers. I believe that. I forgot. Let me give it to you like this. I didn't watch the Headbangers when they were wrestling WWE. I didn't see them. That was around the time I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. I was working majority of the time. I went to school. So I never saw their work. But they were here. But then you get the Southern Six. We get Carrie, along with someone I don't recognize. And there is no Ricky Morton there. He's not there. Carrie is there. And the key of this was that in this match, if you pin somebody, the match is over. But if you do not pin someone, you have to take a drink. And they made it very clear that Carrie does not handle liquor well. He is a lightweight. Now, me, myself, I don't know if I'm a lightweight or a heavyweight. I don't drink. I drank a couple of times in my life. The most I've drank is, over the last of my life? Not counting the accidental drinking of vodka and orange juice at the age of maybe 3 or 4 years old. I drank my half-brother's vodka and orange juice by accident. I used to drink orange juice as a kid, so I drank it and ran around the house and fell out. Most 25 times. That's it. I don't drink. So the most I did was 25, not 40, but 25, yeah. And people had to ask me or demand me to drink because I'm not a drinker. I just don't like the smell of it. But every time when a pin did not work, everyone had to take a swig of whiskey. And seeing that Carrie was acting like a lightweight was funny. In the end, Carrie won. And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing because I'm not seeing the product. So I can't tell you if it's good or not. But it was funny. Next, submission match. Blake Troop, I've never seen him before, versus Jax Dean, who I do remember. Let me give it to you like this. Do I hate Jax Dean? No. But seeing how Jax Dean, the last time I saw him wrestling, he didn't look like he was in great shape. He just doesn't have the speed like he used to. He did have a great character. Being the, what was he at the time, the national champion, wearing that, kind of like a mink coatish thing around his neck, and he going like this. And his personality I liked. His ring work was very, very slow. He just didn't have the speed like he used to anymore. He's a much more older wrestler. He just doesn't have the speed to go with his strength. He just does not have it. So I don't expect him to be able to keep up with anybody. And in this case, he was allowed to win. I don't know if that's good or not. But he was allowed to win. Admittedly, it was sloppy. The match was sloppy, but it was somewhat interesting. Seeing this Blake Troop. He was an interesting individual. I can't really say that he's great or not. This is the first time I've ever seen him, but this is what you get. I will say during the show, the music was okay. I did like the music. It was some decent music. Also, the lighting was an issue when it was outside the ring. And the only time when they lit up everything is when they knew the people were going to stay outside the ring for longer than about, 20 seconds? So it wasn't really good. But the camera work, I thank you, Billy. Whoever you got to do the camera work in the ring and the sky cam that was rolling around was well done. I was able to see what was in the ring. It was clear. It wasn't like we were seeing ass or someone's face like this, like they do, at least in Impact Wrestling. And in WWE, they go like this. That can give you a headache. Instead of letting us see what's in the ring, they want to make it so dramatic and cinematic by doing it like that. I can say here they didn't do any of that. I liked it because I could see what's going on in the ring, what moves people were doing. Were they important moves? Did they show any type of charisma? That I could see. And that's more important to me than something cinematic. But now, here's where it gets interesting. The women's tag match. And this is In Power versus This is one of the reasons why I may want to go back to watch NWA, because I loved I know, look, let's make it clear. When it comes to Natalia Markova, I know many people will say, dude, the only reason you're doing it is because of these. Come on, she's a beautiful woman with a great set of tits. No. Markova may got a great ass body, she does. But she can talk to a certain extent. And she's a very, very rough wrestler. When we went up against Camille and Maxine Paler, I watched both of those types of matches. And even Kenzie Page, when she was dealing with her like that. I liked her roughness. Because she's not trying to be some cutesy woman who's a diva like most women would be who look like her. Let's be honest here. When it comes to Markova, she is not a sexy woman that's trying to be 100% sexy. She doesn't care if her tits are bigger than anybody else's. She's going to hit you as hard as she can and knock your teeth down your throat. And I appreciate that. I do. Because I care more about the woman doing the match than that the woman's body makes me horny. Okay? Now, when it came to Taylor Rising instead of terrorizing, they both came out as Harley Quinn. Markova was the old style Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series. I'm being honest. If I had to look at the current and the older Harley Quinn, I like the older Harley Quinn from Batman the Animated Series. She had way more interesting personality. Now, mind you, Harley Quinn, the cartoon series that came out, 2019, actually was pretty good. I've not seen season 2 yet, or 3. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But I remember season 1 being excellent. It was so good when she was dealing with Poison Ivy. I thought that was a great combination. So seeing that we had 2 Harley Quinns, in an older Harley Quinn in a Markova and a new Harley Quinn in Rising was okay. But then when we see Pretty in Power and we see Kenzie Page's younger sister, interesting. I do remember seeing a promo once, maybe about 6 months ago when I looked at NWA's channel because I didn't watch anything. But I wanted to see something briefly. And I saw Pretty in Power with Kenzie Page, someone who looked almost like her, and their partner Envy. And I remember seeing her younger sister. So seeing that Kenzie's a champion and her younger sister's a tag champion with Envy is not so bad. I'm not going to tell you the match was great. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. When it came to Markova, she did well and so did Rising, but you could tell those two didn't team up much. So they were going by that premise that both of them could be pretty messy because they don't really know each other. And in the end, Empower won. Pretty in Power still won. And I'm not saying it's good or bad because I still don't know if Rising and Markova are supposed to really be a really important team because I haven't seen it. But I'm not going to tell you that Markova didn't look like that. Okay? She looked beautiful. Physically, she's a very beautiful woman. But I go by how hard she can hit. And that woman can hit harder than anybody. She doesn't play around when she's physical in the ring. Yes, she played around in the very beginnings of the match trying to show that she could be as sexy as Envy or Kenzie's younger sister. I can't remember her name, but you got my point. I have no idea what to make of this match. The Riddle box match. I'm sorry. What the fuck was I looking at? What was that? El Rebellion, I remember easily. And they got 666 and even I think it's 666's father was there. And then the Brothers of Funstruction. I don't know if they're part of NWA. I have no fucking clue. They're wearing clown feet boots. Yes. Clown feet boots. I'm not putting no images in this video. I'm uploading it straight because I'm watching this and I'm writing down my notes and I'm going like, what the fuck am I looking at? I know this was a gimmick pay-per-view, but what the fuck? Clown feet boots. Big in their own feet like this. What the fuck? And the clowns won. I don't know if it's good or not. And there's Ray the Violent. I don't even know who he is. But this was weird. And it was funny. And I'll give it that. Now, the World Women's Heavyweight Championship. And that is Kenzie versus Rufy. This is where it gets interesting for me. Saw the match. Kenzie's a better wrestler than Rufy. There's no problem. Rufy Ray is not as good as a wrestler as she is. I saw her promo. It was choppy. She says she's 5 tools. One of those tools is mic skills. Baby, you don't got it yet. She does not have it. Rufy don't got it. But there is something there. And particularly, it's a little more personal for me personally. Guys, I had 2 relatives named Rufy. One grand aunt and my mother's cousin, which would make me her 4th cousin. Or 4th cousin, I believe. Because she already had grandchildren. So that would be like my 3rd or 4th cousin, which was my mother's 2nd cousin. They were both the same age almost. So for me personally, I met my grandaunt when I was very young before her death. And then I knew another cousin who had the same name as her namesake. And I hadn't thought of that name in so long, and seeing that Rufy Ray's existence made me think of my grandaunt and my cousin. And it was a strange feeling. And I want to like her because, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. And she reminds me of my relatives because of the name. But the girl don't got it yet. She don't have the mic skills. Is she a good wrestler? Not bad. Not a bad wrestler, but she's sloppy. Kenzie was a better wrestler. And that's if I'm not... I think it's Kenzie. Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, I think that Ray will be something because they did say she signed to NWA now. That's good. But she needs work. Like Kenzie needed work. When I first saw her back in 2019, when she first started when she was 18, she needed work. She needed more than what she was doing. She was putting on decent matches, but she needed more time to develop as a character and also develop her skill. How to sell, how to do her moves, her crafts. And since 19 until now, she's improved dramatically. That girl from the last time I saw her, you can see in the last year, she's actually gotten quite better in selling and delivering what she needs to do with her moves and being more charismatic. Now that they threw the title on her, it proves that they believe in her. And I can see why. There you go. What? The second to last match. The King's Round Tables match. We got Blunt Force Trauma, and I do remember them, but not with that name. Because once, what was he, I forgot his name. Mac, I believe it was Mac, that's Jazz's husband, Mac. I can't remember his first name. But Mac, Rodney Mac, there you go. Rodney Mac was working with somebody else I didn't know. And they were working, Rodney Mac was working with Aaron Stevens. And then the other guy came in. It was before they did Blunt Force Trauma, I believe. It was just before they were starting that name of Blunt Force Trauma. But he was working with Rodney Mac. And he was trying to make sure that as the new question, he was going to get over. So that's what I do remember. That was before I stopped watching. So I'm watching this, and they bring out, I don't know, Lord Eric. They bring out a wizard. They bring out two knights. And then they bring out, and the surprise for me personally, was a May Valentine. But let me give it to you like this. I'm not saying May was heavy set, but you can tell that something happened to her. She looks thinner. Now, I'm not telling you that she lost a tremendous amount of weight. I'm not telling you that she was heavy set. She wasn't. She was a damn good looking Brazilian woman. She was beautiful. I'm not going to tell you she wasn't. But she always had a problem with me when it came to her reviewing. Now, that one review that she did do with Rufy, it didn't look bad. But I don't know if she's gotten better or not. If I start doing reviews of NWA again, I will find out. But she just came out in a princess dress, sat in the chair, and was watching the match. And most of the crowd were not too happy when they started bringing out regular rectangle tables, saying that's the wrong table. It's got to be round. And they made it very clear with the commentary team, which was all right. Danny Deals did a good job since we do not have Velvet Sky there anymore. She left. I kind of want to make it clear. Velvet did grow into her role as a commentator. She did. She wasn't perfect at it, but she did grow into it. And I did appreciate her taking the lead sometimes during the men's matches and the women's matches. I did appreciate that it wasn't always Tim Storm and Joe Galley, I believe that's his name, because it's been a while, them always leading it and she didn't say anything. I did enjoy that. She did try not to talk over them, but she did try to lead the commentary when it led to her personality, when it was with a Austin Idol and stuff like that. I didn't mind it. So this match finally led to the end where Aaron Stevens, who was supposed to be banned from ringside, was not, and nailed and it seems that Mike Knox and I'm surprised those two would actually work together. When it comes to Trevor, I didn't think it would work with Mike Knox, but they're working together. And in the end, they lost and Blunt Force Trauma retained, and then Aaron took off the helmet, raised their arms, and then you got Mae Valentine chasing him around. I would love her to chase me around. Let's make this clear. I would be happy with a Mae Valentine. I would love her to death. She's not an ugly woman. She never was. It's obvious she has lost some weight. Maybe she wanted to be more in shape. I don't know if she's an in-ring competitor. Maybe she is. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I don't know if Mae wrestles. I don't. Maybe she does. I just don't know. Last match, you got Tom, EC3, and the insurance policy dressed as Elizabeth trying to hike up her top where those big titties are showing, a Camille. She did nail a Matt Cardona in the very beginnings of the show because he came out and interfered in one of the matches, the one I talked about, whoever loses leaps. She nailed his ass and then hit him with a chair. And at the end of the match, he did come in, mess with Tom, was about to nail Camille, and the way he messed with Tom was he was about to give a broski boot right to Camille's face because she did spear him and then hit him with a chair. She was going to literally get her face smashed in by a Matt Cardona who didn't get that chance because Tom gave up the opportunity to beat EC3 and protected his woman, whose boobies are like this, pushed up to the sky. And everybody wished that but I'm not trying to be nasty. It's just that she's dressed as Miss Elizabeth in a white dress. And we got the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh, you dig it, in a Tom Latimer because of the Hollow Eve type of situation here. And I'm sorry, every guy that I knew that ever saw Miss Elizabeth was in love with that ass. I mean, they loved that woman. Not because she was beautiful, intelligent. Not just that. They wanted to squirt in them. They wanted to squirt on the dress. They wanted to squirt inside her. That's how much people loved a Elizabeth. And then we get a little bit of Camille dressed as Elizabeth doing everything she can to hike up that top. I don't know what does this mean for EC3 now that we had the situation with a Matt Cardona because he did retain. I don't know if Tom's going to keep having this situation with EC3 or is he now dealing with Matt Cardona because Matt screwed him over. I don't know. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know. This was I don't know type of show. It's super ultra gimmicky, but it wasn't bad. For me personally, it was funny as hell for most of it. And I'm going, what the fuck am I looking at? But I can't tell you that this is bad from NWA. It's totally different. I can understand why people from the CW may have now accepted them on their network because they have changed the product enough. I don't know how much of it changed. I still haven't seen NWA 124. I gotta watch so I can begin to get an idea how much they changed. At least a couple of episodes, if I get the chance. But it's just me. Peace.